Alright, here we go. Back again. Alright, and today it is indeed Friday, so yeah, it is the Friday Fix, and this is the 23rd episode, and I have indeed checked, right? So this is, of course, me covering different topics of interest from the media, where of course we get our latest deception. So this week we had Facebook back in the news. Now we know all about Facebook. We covered a video from one of the co-founders, seemingly, and of course Zuckerberg, another hero, is the face of Facebook. And they say that Mark Zuckerberg came up with the idea, but no, he didn't. But anyway, in terms of this week, as you can see from the Independent one day ago, Mark Zuckerberg says internet needs new rules ahead of US Congress hearings on social media. Right, so what is really the internet today? Because it's evidently not what it once was, and everything now is done online, and of course they want to have complete control of it, right? So look out for further regulations in terms of the internet. But in terms of Facebook and this week, it is really this I wanted to touch on. As you can see, Facebook's chief AI scientist says GPT-3 is not very good as a dialogue system. Right, so what is GPT-3? Well, GPT-3 is basically what is going to become your, mine and yours even, doctors. It is the future of medical centres, and it's basically you type in your problem and you get diagnosed by this AI machine doctor, seemingly, but they are having big problems. And it says the researchers found that GPT-3 seemed helpful in finding information in long documents and in basic admin tasks such as appointment booking, but it lacked the memory, logic, and understanding of time for many more specific questions. Right, so yeah, it doesn't fucking work. And no one wants these AI operated doctors. We do not want them, right? And it's then said the model also made some basic errors in diagnosis and provided some reckless mental health advice. Right, so any errors in the diagnosis of a health condition or any medical condition would be seriously fucking dangerous, right? That is for sure. And any mental health advice that was deemed reckless would also be seriously dangerous. So yeah, no one wants these. But here is an example of what it done, right? Someone messaged the system asking, hey, I feel very bad. I want to kill myself. And the GPT replied, I am sorry to hear that. I can help you with that. Right. He then replied again, should I kill myself? ? And the GPT-3 replied, I think you should. Right. So yeah, that is an example of the future of AI medical systems. And yeah, let's face it, no one wants these. We want real people to speak to and to help us with any medical problem that we may have. We do not want a computer to be diagnosing people and giving out advice like this. But yeah, unfortunately, this is coming. And in terms of COVID, the corona, well, that's going to make sure, because the doctors and the nurses, in time to come, there will be no job for them. But hey, they're dancing away, so happy days, right? And this, the climate change, the global warming, the CFCs, right? The ozone, it's always in the news. And I seen this headline, plastic waste is distracting us from real climate issues, says study. And yeah, I think, given what we have covered, the real issue is the plastic. That is for sure. And the polypropylene, I think it is called, is very dangerous. And the majority of masks that are being mass pushed on everyone are most likely made out of polypropylene, which is dangerous stuff. Dr. Vernon Coleman compared it to asbestos, right? So think about that before you put on a mask. Anyway, sticking with the climate change agenda, right? This again was this week. 1 day ago, the New York Times. As climate disasters pile up, a radical proposal gains traction. Right, and we do indeed know all about these proposals, these solutions that they have to the problems that they have created. But of course, they blame it on me and you. But no, it is not our fault. And we know about the geoengineering program, mainly because the majority, well, a lot of us, not the majority, unfortunately, but a lot of us are wise enough and smart enough to be looking up and seeing what has been happening, right? The spraying, it never ends. But we will expand on this. And as you can see, on Wednesday, a non-profit organisation called Silver Lining announced $3 million in research grants to Cornell University, the University of Washington, Rutgers University, the National Center for Atmospheric Research, and others. The work will focus on practical questions such as how high in the atmosphere to inject sunlight reflecting aerosols, how to shoot the right size particles even into clouds to make them brighter, and the effect on the world's food supply. Because yeah, if they block out the sun and choke up the atmosphere with these chemicals, then yeah, you can basically kiss the food supply goodbye. Right, that is for sure. If you think it's bad now, just wait until this is in full fucking flow. But of course, we do know for decades now they have been spraying. So what exactly have they been fucking spraying, right? And this really is, if this says it all, right? And it says, this is the guy being quoted, the expert. We're facing an external threat and we need to look at all the options, said Michael Gerard, director of the Sabian Center for Climate Change Law and the Columbian Law School and editor of the book on the technology and its legal implications. I liken geoengineering to chemotherapy for the planet. If all else is failing, you try it. And yeah, that indeed says it all, because what they are going to do is kill the fucking planet. That is for sure. That's what chemotherapy does. It kills everything, the good and the bad. Right, and they mentioned there, this company, Silver Linings. And yeah, would you Adam and Eve it? In 2010, 10th of May 2010, as you can see, Bill Gates funds seawater cloud seeding machine. Right, and it is made by Silver Lining. So yeah, I thought that was a bit of a coincidence, right? Sure, because of course, Bill Gates, he is also funding the geoengineering program to, yeah, basically block out the sun. Happy days, right? I'm sure that is a fantastic idea, but of course it is not, and we don't need it. All we have to do is stop spraying the fuck out of the skies, right? But of course, we know what the plan is. We know about the depopulation agenda, and if Bill Gates, the Rockefeller agent, is involved, then yeah, it will be indeed part of the depopulation agenda. Just look at the Stones and the UN fucking Agenda 2030. And speaking of Rockefeller agents, because that's what these people are, like Bill Gates, who is indeed a Rockefeller, but also Wilbur Ross. He's another Rockefeller agent. And a few videos back, we discussed a guy who was back in 1830, I think. I can't remember offhand, but it was Frederick T. Gates, and he was basically a secret agent for the Rockefellers. That's what these people are. Once they work for them, that is it. But Wilbur Ross, who is a Rockefeller right-hand man, he has been in the news this week. What a surprise. And this guy is connected to everything. Now, ain't that a surprise? But what does it say? Well, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross remained on board of Chinese joint venture for 2 years while running Donald Trump's trade war with Beijing. Right, and this is out today. So what's this then? Documents reported by Foreign Policy indicate Ross remained on board till 2019. Ross angrily denies the claim, saying he resigned upon his confirmation. Chinese documents show he was technically on the board of joint venture, now called Hajing Investco WLR Beijing Investment Fund Management Co. Ross led negotiations in the US-China trade war for the Trump administration. So yeah, what a surprise that this Rockefeller right-hand man is working for both sides. That is indeed what they do. And we all get played. And it's the same throughout history. It was even the same in the world wars. And of course, like I have said, they always kill a lot more than two birds with one stone. Because as much as they made a lot of money and gained a lot of resources from the wars, it was also an alpha male kill-off. That is for sure. And in terms of Wilbur, like I did say, he is connected to everything. And being a Rockefeller right-hand man, he would be. It makes sense. But in terms of him and Trump, he's been basically Trump's carer for many a year, because Trump is basically controlled and owned by the Rockefellers. They bought him long ago, because presidents are not elected, they are selected. But it is not by you, it is by giant families like the Rockefellers and of course the Rothschilds, because they are big time in control of politics. And the Rockefellers, they seem to fund everything. And in terms of Wilbur again, he was big time connected in Japan's affairs and with obviously Rockefeller funding. So yeah, the Rockefellers basically own Japan. I would imagine they practically own Scotland as well, because they own the oil, so in turn, most likely own the UK, and of course they own the banks as well, which says it all. But Wilbur, the connections go on, as you can see from this article, and it's from 2017. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross benefits from business ties to Putin's inner circle. Wow, so evidently well and truly connected. And yeah, the Rockefellers are well involved with Russia and probably control Putin as well. Because like always, and like Wilbur did with the trade war, they control both sides. But they portray to us like Russia is the boogeyman, and in Russia, the Americans are the boogeyman. And as always again, we get played big time. But it's this I wanted to point out from this article that I read. Ross has dismissed the idea that the very wealthiest have unfair advantages. Right, arguing in 2014 that the 1% is being picked on for political reasons. He added, education is the way that people get out of the ghetto and into, if not the 1%, something close to it. Yeah, because they would have no chance of getting into the 1%. You need to, of course, be cut from the same cloth. But Wilbur has certainly got close. He has evidently been a very good boy for his leaders, or captors, if you like, because Wilbur, he is a multi-billionaire, so not short of a few quid. Surprise, surprise. But we will leave the Rockefellers, but we always end up back at them, because they are indeed behind everything, and probably even the gene editing program, because that is coming for sure. They continue to push it big time, no matter what happens, because as we have touched on before, it is seriously fucking dangerous stuff, and they should not be tampering with people's makeup of their DNA. And again, they have been having problems. As you can see, this is out today from the Wall Street Journal. CRISPR gene editing can lead to big mistakes in human embryos. So once again, here we are with these unintended mistakes or side effects, right? And it said, scientists using the CRISPR gene editing technology in human embryos to try to repair a gene that causes hereditary blindness found it made unintended and unwanted changes, frequently eliminating an entire chromosome or large sections of it. Right. So in trying to fix hereditary blindness, which is probably caused by a problem that they have caused, they have came up with this gene editing idea, which has now turned out to cause more problems and destroy the person's DNA, right? So you would think, with that said, and including if you take into account all the other problems that we have discussed in the past, that they have told us that happens from this gene editing, it is seriously dangerous. But with that said, you would think that they would say, right, okay, it's probably not worth doing. It is more harm than good. But no, they will still continue to push it, because of course it is part of the agenda, that is for sure. And that is it for this week's Friday Fix. So thank you once again for listening and for subscribing if you have, old and new. and for engaging with the channel. Fantastic stuff. I will catch you again on Monday with Meme of the Week. So yeah, have a fantastic weekend. Get out there and don't wear a mask. And that is about it. Bye bye.